All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the SoulCast. Getting awfully close to the end here. This is the second to last episode. So for this episode, we're actually going to be taking a look at Dampierre, which is one of the new characters for Soul Calibur 5, of course. So I don't really have much preamble other than just to say that we're almost close to the end. So with that, I do want to introduce my guest. I think this is the first guest outside of the continent of North America for Soulcast, and that is Azig for life. What's going on, man?
Hiya. Yeah, so as some of you might know, AZG for life. Well, there's so many ways of pronouncing it, but I really
Oh
don't mind.
man, I messed it up, didn't I? Azig.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay, AZG for life. I'm gonna remember that. I'm not gonna mess that up again. All right.
Cool.
Well, like I said, hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody, but I believe that the only two countries that we've had guests for are Canada and the U.S. So you are from the U.K., of course. So
Yep.
give us a little bit of a background, like where did or when did you start? What game did you start playing? And how is the UK scene and everything?
All right. I think I'll start with the UK scene. Honestly, I haven't been involved in the offline UK scene much.
Hmm.
The only players I know are from watching things like the Edge Master series, include Silent Joel, Hyrule as well. I think he's a Tira player. And I also remember Shinjin as well. He came at one point with his Astaroth. And also another guy I met, Sinrai as well, the infamous Sinrai. He's he was mainly an Alpha Pat player, and he was also the guy who got me into Soul Calibur 5, because he lived in the same city as me last year. So we somehow met, and yeah, I mean, I'm not really like that popular or known in the UK Soul Calibur scene. I mean, I've yet to enter a tournament because I'm a student and I live quite a distance away from London.
Okay, we're gonna
So
change that
yeah,
just a little bit. We're gonna make you known.
yeah, by all means.
So I know
Um,
that you play Tekken as well, and
yeah.
actually I've been speaking with Iron Lobster for one of the Tagcast episodes, and he was actually singing your praises. So I know that you have at least
Oh,
one fan out there. He was
oh,
very,
yeah. I mean, in the Tekken scene, I'm more known
mhm,
in the throughout the Tekken community as a Lee player,
mhm.
and I think Tekken was the game I pretty much started with. Um, I think I've always seen Soul Calibur as a sort of like side game. So if Tekken dies down, then I'd jump onto Soul Calibur. But I've had more success lately with getting into offline Tekken because there's more players in my area who play it. So we have weekly sessions, and um, I've also been to one of the tournaments, the 360 gaming tournaments in London,
Mhm.
and it was actually pretty. It was actually my very first major, and it was awesome. Like I think I placed eighth out of, like, I don't know, maybe around 30 odd or 40 competitors, which wasn't too bad for my first major.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. And I know, Iron Lobster said that he was impressed with the way that you've been playing Tekken and everything. He actually told me to tell you hop kicks and timeouts, bro.
Oh man, I remember. Yes, that's true, because like, I also use in Tekken Tag 2. I my main team is Lee and Olga,
Mhm.
and Olga is like a keep out character. So Iron Lobster is aware of how I use Olga, so he just like keeps his distance way and uses like mad axes and these 1+2 breaks that They just come out so instantly, and it's like, oh man, matchup just isn't in my favor.
That's okay. It's I mean, from what I understand, you're still young, so not an old fogey like myself, so you still
Yeah,
still got plenty of time. Well, I'm sure we're boring, the caliber players with all this Tekken talk. So
yeah. This is about Soul Calibur. Yeah,
yeah.
but
So I do want to ask, Dampierre is new to the caliber scene, or games, I believe. So what made you interested in Dampierre?
okay. Back in when Soul Calibur Broken Destiny was being advertised, I noticed Dampierre, and he looked pretty like I actually thought he looked like a villain,
Hmm.
and but I wasn't too sure. And there was one point in the advertisement where I saw him doing these what I would refer to as just frame kicks.
Hmm.
But I think the people in the community refer to it as Bravo Encore, and I was like, seriously, like in Soul Calibur 4, I was more into I wasn't that competitive because I had no scene at the time, so I was more into like just frame moves. I was just more of a combo person,
The
pretty
flashy
much.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, flashy stuff, and I was like, wow, that just frame, those just frame kicks look so hard. Like that was my perception on it. And when um when Soul Calibur 5 came around and Dampierre was being announced,
Mhm.
and when Dampierre was being announced, I decided that I would main this character because I understood him to be a very tricky character with his stances, and he, you know, just from reading like the comments, he didn't really seem like a very popular character
Mhm.
from the community. So I just thought, I'll just main like the least used character, and when Soul 5 came out and people were drafting the tier list, they placed like Dampier as the worst, or as one of the worst characters in the game, and that sort of convinced me more to have the mentality to say, you know what, I'm gonna work with him. I'm gonna be a low tier hero. I'm gonna, shut these guys up and and prove that Dampier is a viable character.
Nice. So before we actually jump into, like the specifics, I do want to, because I'm sure that you know more about this than I do. Where
Yep.
where does he fit into the whole storyline? I mean, is he just a random character they decided to add, or where does he even come from?
Um, Dampier, he's a well, I'd refer to him as a traveling con man. He's more of like one of those less series. He's more of like a side story character.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't have like an overall importance to the series compared to like maybe Siegfried or Nightmare, who are like the main hero villain sort of thing. He's in his sort of like little like he has his own little like world of adventures and stuff.
Interesting.
And he's I think I remember from one of the threads I read, Dampier actually he actually met with Cervantes and sold him weapons, I believe. And I think he also, also an interesting thing, he actually sold Pyrrha to slavery, if I remember correctly. And I was
Wow.
like, yes. And um he's just, I don't know, he's just everywhere, trying to make money from um whatever wars or battles are going on. He'll just be in the background, sneakily trying to sell goods and stuff. That's what I know about him story wise anyway.
Gotcha. All right. Well, usually, for the character discussion, I start with more a general like strengths and weaknesses question, but I
Hmm.
do have one question in particular to start off because you mentioned the tier lists that people make. Now I've heard I don't know a lot about Dampierre, but I've heard that one of the reasons that he's sort of looked down upon is he has like random moves where
Yeah.
you don't really necessarily know how it or what it's going to do when it hits.
Hmm.
How does that work?
Okay, so throughout Dampierre's move list, some of his moves have a random factor. We'll just call that for now.
Okay.
Um, Basically, what that specific move does, it either helps or hurts Dampier. So let's take one of his moves, like 623B.
Mhm.
That's it's a very safe. It has good range, useful for whiff punishing. But if the random factor occurs, that move will not hit the opponent. Instead, Dampier will just fall to the floor and will end up in poker bluff stance. So let's say that you intended to use that move to whiff punish, and you know, like maybe Siegfried just whiffed like a very unsafe move,
Mhm.
and you have the chance to whiff punish and use 623B. Now, if that move if that move fails and has the random factor, you know, Siegfried is pretty much safe. You know, you have failed the whiff punishment due to the luck, the random factor. And
Interesting. Oh, go ahead.
his other moves such as uh um even Bravo Encore, his just frame kicks.
Mhm.
Like sometimes on block he will recover standing, but with the random factor he can recover in poker bluff stance. So therefore, punish in terms of punishment, it will be different. If he recovers standing, then that move is really unsafe. I think maybe Mitsu can get like a 3B launch. If that move recovers in poker bluff, then all they can get is a grounded hit if they react fast enough to it.
Hmm.
So the random factor um, can sometimes hurt or hinder Dampier. It can help him in terms of punishment because if he ends up grounded, they cannot launch you. They can only get a ground hit. But at the same time, if you're fishing for a whiff punish, it can hurt you because, you know, you've missed on that whiff punish.
Mhm. Now let me ask this: how do you see that? Like, is it a huge weakness because you could just miss out on that, or how do you, as a Dampierre player, how do you make up for that random factor?
Well, I see the random factor in terms of offense as a weakness
Hmm.
because you are literally when you're using random moves, you are literally playing um like poker. You are gambling.
Hmm.
So it's pretty risky in terms of his offense, the randomness. But at the same time, it can be rewarding once it hits, especially in combos because there's one staple combo 623B 623B Bravo Encore 4B. Within that combo, if you land the first hit of 623B, there's a chance you have the same chance of the second 623B from failing.
Hmm.
So therefore, that combo you've literally dropped the combo. You've missed out on damage.
All right,
So
so let
yep.
me ask this: like, are those moves because of that? Do you typically stay away from those moves, or do you still use them quite often?
I would still I would still use them because you know the chance is there, and even if um like I would okay 63B, I would use that for a whiff punish rather than a block punish
Hmm.
um because if the opponent like knows he's whiffed and is expecting a 623B whiff punish,
Hmm.
and 623B fails and you're in poker bluff, you can still like you can still you've literally closed in on your opponent, and depending on how they react, they can hesitate and just stay there and you can carry on with your offense, or they can if they anticipate that 63B will will fail, they can sort of like continue their offense. um sorry, there was something else I wanted to say.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question you just asked? I do apologize.
Oh, I was just asking if you tended to stay away from those moves or not, which you answered. You said you it
Yeah,
sounds like you do use them.
I
So.
would use them because the chance is still there. So I mean, why not go for it? I mean, if you fail, it's not the end of the world. You can still continue your game plan. So yeah, I would still use them because they are really key moves.
Cool. Well, that's really like the only really the thing that I was really curious about. So we can kind of jump in wherever you want to. If you like have a certain place that you think we should
Yeah.
start
hmm
when talking about him, by all means, go ahead.
Um. Yeah. Like Dampierre's. In fact, actually, I think what I'll do, for the benefit of for those listening as well, I'll list his moves that have a random factor.
Okay.
So you have 623B. That's a combo starter. It stuns on hit. It's on block. It's -4, so it's safe. And obviously the random factor is that he lands head face towards you
Mhm.
in poker bluff stance. His other random move is A+B. Now, back in Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, that move was safe and it didn't fail. It never had that random factor, and it actually launches as well. It does like the head spin launch on the opponent,
Hmm.
so you can follow up with Bravo Encore. Now that move was safe in Broken Destiny, and it was it literally almost made Dampierre broken because he had the safest launcher in the game,
Interesting.
just A+B. But now in Soul 5, they've nerfed it so that Dampierre has a chance of whether on hits or block, he has a chance of doing the head spin knockdown
Mhm.
after that move hits. So therefore, as a result, the opponent can punish you if it's blocked. I know in the Dampierre versus Dampierre matchup, Dampierre can actually punish himself with Bravo Encore, whereas opponents might probably get like I don't know, a BB punish or some floating mid-air combo.
Hmm.
What's interesting to note as well is if AB fails, Dampierre there's some frames where he's in a tech jump position. So if an opponent tries to punish a failing A+B with a low, it will whiff. So let's say I'm Natu, for example. I've just blocked Dampierre A+B, and that move has failed, so he's in the head spin motion. I use 1A. That 1A can whiff.
Hmm.
So, it's pretty lopsided, and I think a key thing is to like understand and know what the best possible punishment for that situation when A+B fails. And another move, his 1K. His 1K, there's two versions of it. There's the held version, which guard breaks, yeah, that's the correct term.
Hmm.
And there's the normal version as well, which is pretty. The normal version is safe if he doesn't transition into fake pain.
Gotcha. And that's when he just
If he
falls
does,
down.
Yeah, fake pain is when he just grabs one of his legs and says, "Ow, my foot," or something like that. And literally that, if he transitions into fake pain, you have more than enough time to punish him if your reactions are on point. And an interesting fact is what the normal 1K, um, you have an 80% chance, as a rough figure, an 80% chance to transition into fake pain stance. And the 20% chance is just for it to just be normal. So no stance transitions. Whereas if you do the held version of 1K, there's a 80% chance that you will not transition into fake pain stance. And there's a 20% chance that you will transition into fake pain. And just a note about 1K as well, the held version. On block, it's +2. It's +2 on block. And on hit, it just knocks down on hit. And your if he doesn't transition into fake pain, a guaranteed follow up, a guaranteed combo from 1K is I believe 3K for 44 damage, 1B for 47 damage. Depending on the range, you can also get 8B plus K for 51 damage, and you can also get BB as well for 64 damage, but that's it's angle and range dependent. So that's after a fully charged 1K on hit without the transition.
All right.
And I'll just shift on to his 44K. His 44K, there's two versions of it. There's one version where he does the roll. So, and it has Tech Rot's properties, and it has a chance of being a clean hit as well. Now, the second version of 44K, which is the random version, is where he it's a pretty funny animation. He jumps into the air, and it's like a body slam. And there's also a chance where if he lands from that random version, he'll be in poker bluff stance. And another thing to note as well, the Brave Edge version of 44K, he does 3 rolls. However, there is a chance, the random factor, that he can do the body slam move at any time. So it can be after the first roll, after the second roll. And it's pretty combo wise, I wouldn't use it.
Okay.
It's, I don't know, it's I just don't really I don't really like using 44K Brave Edge. I mean, if you do all 3 rolls successfully, then I believe it's something like +6 on hit. Let me just verify that. I believe it is +6 on hit. But either way, you do get frame advantage, but it's natural combo as well, which is good. But for me to use it in combos, I mean, it's just a waste, in my opinion, or a waste of meter.
All right. Because of the random factor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because of the random factor as well. So, the combo can fail. You can lose out on damage. So it's not really. It's not. I mean, you can use it if you want, if you know it will finish them off. But I would stay away from it. Another move as well. His 3-3B. I'll start off with 3-3B. 3-3 or 9-9B.
Mm-hmm.
If for those of you who are familiar with the Tekken series, the animation, it looks like that of Mishima
Thunder God Fist.
Thunder Godfist.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
the
yes,
first thing I thought of when I saw it.
yes. That's the one. Um, so it's a good move. It tech crouches. It's unsafe on block, but it has a follow up. Two random follow ups actually. There's the mid follow up. Um, which knocks down on hit and also rings out. So if you don't have a fast move to interrupt it, then you can, you've got other options. You can just guard it, or you can just you can I believe you can step it as well. Though I'll have to check on that because it's been a while since I used Dampierre. Um, and after 3-3B, um, you've got the low follow up as well, which is like the Hell Sweep, the Mishima Hell Sweep. It knocks down, and it's not really it's nothing. It's a pretty seeable. It's a pretty seeable mix up. It's you can. I mean, you can punish both options pretty much, or you can even interrupt him after 3-3B, to be honest, on block. Um, but there's an interesting thing on his 3-3B as well. The random factor on 3-3B is actually very very powerful. It actually guard breaks, and it gives you plus 16 on block, which means that if you do 3-3B and it guard breaks, both kicks are guaranteed. So it's pretty like though the chances of it guard breaking is like I'd say it's roughly a 10% chance of 10 to 20% chance of 3-3B doing the guard break version. So it is pretty rewarding, and but what makes 3-3 B the guard break version even more deadly is the Brave Edge version. If you do confirm the Brave Edge, you get a really powerful plus 22 on block. Now, what does that mean? That means that 623B is guaranteed. But ironically, because 623B is random, you might not get the the move to hit.
Now, does he have anything? I mean, I with plus
That's
22.
guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get A plus B to hit. I mean, A plus B, it's like it's 19 frames,
Mhm.
and you should be able to get it in. I think depending on the range, A plus B can whiff, but if you're by a wall, you shouldn't have a problem with getting A plus B to connect. And I think by the wall as well, you can get Bravo on course, so the JF kicks if your execution is on point. So it's very I'd say 3-3B, the Brave Edge version, is one of his best moves, even though it does cost meter. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. If the normal 3-3B, the Brave Edge version, if it comes out, um, Dampierre does a taunt afterwards, but you can cancel the taunt with either a guard, or you can buffer a move after 3-3B Brave Edge. So and it's also 0 to -1 on blocks, so you can still maintain an offense. What I've seen people do, I think Ufmatic as well.
Mhm.
What I've seen him do is use a grab after 3-3B Brave Edge. It's you can use a grab or a mid, or you can just because I think one thing about the animation is that it takes it it takes some opponents by surprise. Like, hey, I blocked this. What am I supposed to do? And it's, I don't know. I just see it as um, I just like the move. I like it.
Alright.
It launches on hit as well, so you can get Bravo on core as well. It's I'd say it's one of its best Brave Edge moves, to be honest. And I'm really sorry. I'm really getting thinking too much into this.
No, that's okay.
Uh,
Did you were there any other random moves that
oh
deserve
yes,
mentioning?
yes. His unblockable B plus K. There's five different random factors in this move. There's he his fastest one is I-23, and if if it hits, you get a guaranteed. I believe it's you get a huge frame advantage on it. It's I believe it's like plus 20 plus 23 on hit. So therefore you can get, if you want to get guaranteed damage. Oh yeah, I've just checked. Yeah, the stun is plus 23.
Hmm.
So therefore you can get Bravo on core. I think that it should be, if your execution is on point, I'd say just just go for the staple damage of Bravo on core
Hmm.
4B.
Okay.
If you are feeling a bit lucky, you can always go for 623B or A plus B and just continue your combo from there. And another funny thing as well is that it's not really, you can actually get an infinite, but chances of that are really slim.
Oh,
I
if you just
think
keep doing it.
yeah, you can just do B plus K, like go achoo, 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 achoo. You know, it's it's pretty it's pretty hilarious when, if it is pulled off. I think in the early builds someone was able to chain six of those fast unblockables, and he must have been really really lucky. It only does 10 damage, but you know
The frame or the
it's
hit advantage.
yeah, the frame advantage is just like it's too good. You know, I mean, I always told myself this, that if Dampierre never had any random factor on his moves,
Hmm.
he'd be the best character in the game.
Well, yeah, I imagine that's a pretty busted move.
And you know, and it's a mid as well, which is pretty good.
Hmm.
So, but on Just Guard, however, it's minus 20 on Just Guard. But I mean, it's not really something to, you know, to worry about too much. It's not something that you'll be able to Just Guard on reaction, to be honest. And just on another note on his the random factors, his unblockable can come out slower as well, so he can sort of hesitates in his season. So um he can go the first one, the first B plus K, which is the fastest one, I-23, is like achoo. Then the second one is like achoo, and the third one is like the longer version of that. And the final version, he doesn't sneeze at all, but instead he he sneezes, but he falls back into Poker Bluff stance.
Mm.
So it's pretty useless. It's more, I'd say only use that move if you are definitely feeling lucky. If you if you're on your last legs and there's no hope, just throw out B plus K. There's a 1 in 5 chance. I mean, you could get lucky, you can cause an upset and make a very epic comeback. But for competitive use, don't use it.
Gotcha.
Don't use it unless if you're really high or drunk and you just want to mess about or something like that. But competitive wise, don't use it.
Gotcha.
And other random moves. Let's see. Oh yeah, his throws. His A throw, his AG throw. The normal version. knocks down on hit, and it also it doesn't ring out, however, but it does wall splat. Now the random, and it does oh yeah, it does 40 damage as well. Now the random version of that move, um, it does ring out, and there's a small chance that you can get a clean hit, and it does 62 damage if you do get the clean hit version. However, unlike the normal version, you do not get the wall splat. So for those of you who are into flashy combos or who practice Dampierre combos, like, it just, if you do use his throws like in your combos, just be aware that if you do expect maybe a ring out or a wall splat respectively, you might get the opposite. So you might get some disappointment if you wish to ring them out or get a wall splat to continue your combo.
Mhm.
And his other throw, which the most hilarious throw in the game, in my opinion, is his B throw. Now, an interesting fact, which carried on from Broken Destiny, if you don't mash, as a Dampierre player, if you don't mash, the best he can get is 5 spanks. Yeah, his B throw is the spank move.
Uh-huh.
You can get 3 to 5 hits if you do not mash. However, if you do mash that throw, you can get 12 hits, and if you do get 12 hits, that is a total of 85 damage from a B throw, and it also rings out the opposite direction, and it does give a wall splat as well. So let's say the edge of the ring is behind Dampierre, then if you use the B throw, then they will get wrung out from that throw.
Now, when you say mash, do you just mean hitting B plus G over and over and over again?
Oh no, what I mean mash is just mash all the inputs. So like mash the director, mash the stick, like mash the buttons as well. Like just throw in as many inputs as possible.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like for those who are stick players, you can like with the stick you can like you can just go in circle motions, like 360 motions, like as fast as possible. Like you can just mash the buttons, every single button you can think of combined.
Wow.
And
Okay.
doing so increases the chance of Dampierre getting more hits.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So I mean, you can still mash all you want, and you can get 3 hits. Other times you can mash, you can get 6 hits, 8 hits, even 12 hits. But 12 hits is very rare. But I think I have landed that in a match, and I have uploaded that on YouTube as well, getting all 12 hits. And oh, another thing as well for those wondering, you cannot counter mash it. So it's not like Patroclus's 66B plus G throw, where you can counter mash and you can get less hits. With Dampierre's B plus G throw, you cannot counter mash to get less hits. So that's just to throw that info out there.
Mhm.
And I think his Dampierre's 4B,
Ah.
it's like an evasive the animation, he sort of sways back, and he sort of like um throws like his daggers in front of you. Like it's like an evasive move that doesn't hit. I think the way this move was designed was to be not only an ender after Bravo Encore, but to also to defend against moves that sort of jump in on you. So like jumping moves. So it's, I don't know if you just, I can't really explain it. It's more of like a keep out move.
Okay.
Yeah, like a keep out move. Like the only move I can think of that that applied to me in that match was against Pyrrha's 6-6B. I think that animation, Pyrrha like jumps towards you and like just like slams her shield or sword or whatever.
Mm.
At a certain distance, if you time it right, 4B will beat Pyrrha's 6-6B.
Interesting.
So the way it's a pretty odd move. I can understand why like how it works, but I think the application is a bit strange. Like it's a bit strange. 4B. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
to be
it
honest,
looks strange. That's for sure.
yeah, like it's more of a, I'd say it's not the best keep up move, but it does have some, it creates space. It's good for like creating some gaps and just, it's not really the best panic button, but it's there. And oh, another thing as well, I think Astaroth's critical edge, um if you use 4B in advance, let's say assuming you know Astaroth is going to do a critical edge.
Mm.
If you use 4B in advance, from the first frame, it will beat out Astaroth's critical edge. It's not something that's practical, but it's just like a random like fact I stumbled across. So that's just like one like random fact out there just to throw it out,
All right.
and it's pretty interesting. Though it's not practical in like in a tournament environment, so but it can happen. But it's just something that you don't see every day. Um, Also, other random moves. Oh yes, of course. 4B. Yes. There's a chance that he can fall back to Poker Bluff stance, and also as well, he can also ring himself out if he's at the edge. So if he does fall, he can ring himself out, and that's a round wasted.
Okay.
So
That's
a general advice for
good one.
any Dampierre players, you know, don't ever use 4B at the ring's edge. Like just don't. It's. I mean, I've made that mistake before because I thought I was being clever, but it's just a waste of a round, especially if you have like full health.
Mhm.
So as a common sense tip, don't use 4B at the edge of the ring. And let's see. What other random moves does he have? One 1K.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah, 1KK. That's the Mishima Hell Sweep.
Okay.
On hit, it's not really that good of a move on hit. If you do both kicks, you will always transition into poker bluff stance. So they can punish you on hit anyway. So it's pretty much like a day one gimmick, but once they discover the frame disadvantage on hit, they can continue their offense. The best thing to do is just to use 1K. There is a slight chance that he will transition into poker bluff,
Uh-huh.
but otherwise 1K on hit, you're pretty much it's minus 22, but because of like the I wouldn't say mix up, but because of like the follow up,
Mhm.
people might tend to like expect the second hit or to just expect the poker bluff transition.
Gotcha.
So yeah, 1K I'd say it's a pretty good low, but it's negative on hit. Both kicks are negative on hit, so it's nothing to be afraid of,
Mhm.
to be honest. And also his Brave Edge, his 6B Brave Edge. Basically, I really don't know why Project Soul put this move in as a Brave Edge. What this literally is just 6B and his B plus K unblockable. Like, that's pretty much all it is. They've just stuck two moves together.
Okay.
So 6B, I'd say it's his out of all his brave edges, it's his worst brave edge. Don't it's a waste of meter, to be honest.
Okay.
There's 6B, and then you just have a chance of either landing the fastest unblockable, the slowest, or no unblockable sneeze at all. So, I mean, for those people who are getting into Dampierre, don't use that.
Now I'm curious. The if you hit with the 6B, it knocks them down. I take it the
Correct.
unblockable can't like tech trap or anything like that.
Um,
Like
to
if
be
they
honest,
roll into it. I don't know
I
if it
think
tracks or not. So
now that you mention it, that's actually something I was meaning to test, because I think the the second fastest version of the unblockable, which I think might be I think I 35 frames.
Mhm.
I think actually I think I will test that out when I get time. But to be honest, it's not really like, I think opponents, there's so many options. They can just stay grounded
Mhm.
and just wait for the unblockable animation to finish, or they can just roll away
Uh,
pretty much.
yeah, I
Because,
just tested it out right now, and if they roll, he doesn't move at all. So
yeah, he doesn't. He just stays
yeah,
there.
he just sticks. So you can just walk right around him. Okay, never mind. That sucks. uh,
And yeah, sorry. In addition,
mhm.
you've also got his 2-2 or 8-8K Brave Edge.
Mhm.
All that literally is just, again, another set of moves stuck together. It is it's natural. It does count as a combo. All it is just, if you do 8-8K, he just like a really fancy kick that flips them to the other side,
Mhm.
and then the Brave Edge version is just the rolls, or it can be the roll and the random body slam. So that's another randomness from Dampierre. And another thing as well, I'll go on his his left throw, his if you throw them from the left hand side,
Mhm.
um it's the stomping kick animation throw.
Okay.
um if you mash, if you do the like super rapid mash, um you can recover standing. But if you don't mash um throughout that throw at all, as a Dampier player, you will always transition to poker bluff stance. However, um, for the benefit of those who want to know how to, you know, break out of that throw, just a few things. You can counter mash that throw. You can either counter mash that throw, and Dampier will always recover in poker bluff, or what you can do, um, you can obviously break the throw the normal way, or you can actually escape the throw after the sixth or seventh kick. What you have to do, you have to mash A to escape, or you can mash B to escape it as well. I think the way it works is that if you grab them with A plus G, I think they have to break with A to halfway through the throw to escape. So to take away from the throw, it's a very funny throw because you have more than one way of escaping. So if you don't break the throw initially, you have a second chance to escape the throw part way. It's I think I'll have to like record an example of it just to demonstrate, because I have a slight trouble explaining it.
Okay.
Um it's pretty I think what you can do, you can like record yourself as Dampierre, grab them from the left, and then once he does the throw, you just mash A, and you should escape it halfway, just as a way of testing it. But yeah, moving on as well. He also has I think I'll shift to his stance, his poker bluff throw. Um, the his poker bluff throw can be accessed by poker bluff B, or his poker bluff A plus G or B plus G. Now, when he gets you into the throw, as a Dampierre player, you can mash to get more hits. Though the more hits you get, then you have a higher chance of the last two hits failing, and therefore you take damage. What the opponent can do as well, they can counter mash so that you get less hits as a Dampierre player. So it's pretty like personally for me, what I would do, I wouldn't mash as much so that I can get a chance to land the last two hits. And if I successfully land the last two hits, I will still be in the poker bluff transition. Therefore, I can still maintain some offense. Now, if for example they counter mash and I don't land the last two hits, I think the damage, I think as a Dampierre player you deal roughly, I think 10 damage or something like that. So it's, and the Oki after that, well, there isn't much Oki because there's some distance between you and the opponent. So as a general advice for people who are trying to fight Dampierre, if he's in poker bluff stance with his head towards you, the best thing to do, and if he gets you into the poker bluff throw punch series, the best thing to do is counter mash. Counter mashing is your best friend. Mm-hmm. So if you struggle with breaking his throws, you know, your next line of defense is just to counter mash so he gets less throws, and also a greater chance of his last two hits from failing. I believe I've covered his all his random moves.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously those seem like a big part of his game. But let's I mean, all of those are, for the most part offensive, I think. So kind of start us there. Like where do you start with his offense? Do you even use him like that, or are you mostly looking for punishes?
Okay. With my experience of Dampierre and my perception of him, I would say you need to rely on defense and looking out for punishment, especially with punishment. I think what I depending on the nature of the opponent, if the opponent is like really offensive as a player, the best thing as a Dampierre player, it will benefit you more if you know the matchup and you know what to do in specific situations and you don't fall for like any gimmicks. I think how an example I can give, well, what I can say is be on the defensive and don't rely on your offensive, on his offense too much. I think as to sum it up, as a Dampierre player, I would rather you have the fundamentals, the Soul Calibur fundamentals, mm-hmm. and you can block punish and whiff punish successfully, than to have like a super amazing offense. because to be honest, Dampierre doesn't. It's just he's just a gimmicky character. He's just a gimmick character. So his it will only take you so far.
Hmm.
So against a knowledgeable opponent, you now need to start shifting from his 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 gimmick offense to now your defense. So now um you need to like gauge his movement. Like as I think Dampierre has really good movement because I think in Soul Calibur generally different characters have different walk speeds. Dampierre's has good movement. He's got he's got a good he's got a good back walk and front dash as well, and he's got a good he's got yeah, his movement is really good. So it's it's oh, another thing as well, like if you can, like make use of his throws as well, and just it's I think there's just different ways of I wouldn't say there's different ways of using Dampierre, but I think the best way, to be honest, is to be really on point with your defense and punishment.
Gotcha. So for the most part, then his offense then is just pure gimmicks. There's not really any legitimate mix-ups that you can use.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think that's how I see it, to be honest. It's his offense is good, but it's not the best. He's not like a rushdown character. He's more like his offense is like limited against a knowledgeable opponent. And I think, but if you do know your matchup
Mhm.
and you know how to punish characters, when to step, when to just guard, or when to GI, I think you can definitely make Dampierre a very powerful character, especially in the whiff punishing department. But I think also like for whiff punishing, like people might think, oh, 623B.
Mhm.
That move, I'd say, to be honest, use it as a whiff punish. Like I'd say from use it as a whiff punish, and even if it fails, like don't be disappointed. Like instead, if it fails, then get back on your defense. Get back on your defense. Like don't try. You can try and like go for his poker bluff attacks, but depending on the range, like if you're in, depends on the range. It is better that you quickly get up and defend and find like space yourself and like prepare for another whiff punish. I do have to mention one of his other tools, 11B. It's actually one of his best launches. It's unsafe on block, but it is a very good whiff punish if you if you um if you know your distance
Mhm.
and you can just if you can just sense that your opponent will whiff, you can just use that move. The one thing I like about it is that it doesn't fail, and you can also do half bar damage from 11B Bravo Encore 4B. I believe it does 120 damage with clean hits on the last two hits. So it does roughly, if not at least half bar damage just from 11B. So if you think about it, if you are able to whiff punish effectively just using 11B,
Mhm.
if you do it twice, you have literally won the round.
All right.
It sounds easy in theory, but practically you'll have other like aspects of the game to think about.
Mhm.
But that is one thing to keep in mind. If you can practice and know the distance of 11B. And the other good thing about the move is that it tech crouches as well. And one of the setups I used I think when I was playing on online, is use 623B.
Hmm.
If it's blocked, use 11B. Now the reason for that was because I was finding opponents would try and go for like an AA or BB just to like because you're at a frame disadvantage, they think, okay, let me just throw a BB, just to like just give an answer to a blocked 623B. But because of 11B's um, tech cross property, and also the fact that you're also stepping as well to one direction, and that negates the effectiveness of AA, of high AAs, and linear BB moves. So that's just like one. It's like it's pretty effective against those who are like offensive, but like those who are knowledgeable, like the best thing to do is just try not to sorry, let me take that back. Sorry, I do apologize. I'm just getting into it, but I'm trying to find the right words.
Sure.
After block 623B,
Hmm.
see what they do. Think of it as a flowchart. So if they try and answer back with a BB or AA, then you'll know for next time that okay, I will do 623B again, but this time I will follow up with a 11B and see if it hits them. So it's just I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like I hope I'm being clear with this, but it's just that's just one of the setups I used just to test opponents.
Hmm.
And I think to be honest, just throw. I think with Dampierre, throw. I think throwing is another good. His throws are really good, especially his B throw. And I think as well. I think I just see Dampierre as a character that will test your fundamentals as a player because he's pretty difficult to handle like in terms of getting used to stances. But the way I see him is that if you have a solid defense,
Hmm.
then I see no reason. If you have a solid defense and an intelligent offense, then I don't see a reason why you can't win with Dampierre.
All right. Well, let me sort of pick your brain on that part then.
Yeah.
Like so we mentioned, he's a little gimmicky. So if they know Dampierre, if your opponent knows Dampierre, and they sort of know how to get around those gimmicks,
Yeah.
you would then switch to a more defensive-oriented style of play. Now,
Yes.
let's say you are behind. You don't, they have the life lead. What are some like I guess solid mix-up examples or like pokes that you can do to try to get the life lead back?
Okay. All right. Good question. Um. So, okay, that's the thing. And if I'd say it's. Okay, so they have the life lead. Okay. Ooh, sorry. If I bring it into context of the stage,
Hmm.
if there's an infinite stage, then it's pretty against a knowledgeable opponent. For a Dampier play, it is pretty I wouldn't say hard, but it's pretty sort of tricky to um to open up a turtle style player.
Hmm. Because I mean, I know
Um
that it looks like his BB is pretty standard. AA is I don't want to say standard, but it's an AA. Does he have like any it looks like he has a 2K, but does he have like anything else that's like really good all the time to try to open him up and just get some of that poking? Because I know 1K, because of the random factor, probably isn't something you'd want to use too much.
mm,
Um, I mean, is there
I
anything
think
else?
I think yeah, like you said, other than BB and AA, there's he's got 66A,
Hmm.
which also catches steppers as well.
Hmm.
His 66A, its range is fairly decent. It comes out it's not really a fast move, but you can it's pretty it's safe, and you can also um you can actually use I'd say actually you can use 66B to close the gap. But the thing I will say about 66B is that against knowledgeable opponents, they can hit you with grounded attacks, so like maybe a 2K or a 2B, just to beat out your poker bluff attacks. Um so this is in the context with an open stage in the open infinite stage environment.
Hmm.
Um I also think to be honest, I'd actually say that um 623B, like I'd say you can actually use that to close the gap as well, because in the game as well, if they're not guarding, if they're not, it can catch backdash. So it, and I believe it counts as a counter hit as well if backdash counter hit. So I mean, it's a long range move. It's something that you'd have to use wisely, but it is very good. It's -4, so you are pretty safe, and you can sort of you know, anticipate their offense, or just carry on with interrupt their offense with like a 2A or something like that. He's also got in terms of lows, he's got 1B, but the thing about 1B is that it's very it's very unsafe at -20, at -28. Although from max range, depending on the matchup, um, some characters can punish it more than others. So it's a good idea to use 1B as rarely as possible, like when they least expect it. And he's also got I guess I guess that's pretty much it. He's also got A plus B. I think when I use A plus B, um I use it hoping to that they it doesn't go into the random um head spin to poker bluff stance. I just hope that it doesn't go into the random version, because A plus B is safe, and it also contributes to the it contributes to the guard burst counter, guard burst
Yeah.
value. It guard bursts in 11. Um, I think the way I see it, if you're trying to get the take down their life lead, to if you're trying to make a comeback, the best thing to do is to go with mids. So to go with mids, or to go with throws as well.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that in all your matches you should just run up to them and, like,
Do a mid
you
or a
know,
throw.
yeah. The best thing to do is to, like, close the gap slowly, and, like, just it's all about making the intelligent offense. So it's just in the context of an open stage, you can just go for mids,
Mhm.
just go for mids, and you can actually even go for you can also go for 3-3 or 3-3 BK, Because what I find most opponents tend to do is to try and punish the 3-3-B, but they don't take into account the kick follow up, and it's I'd also it's not the best, but it's still there. But then you'd have to like work for your damage after that. Um, I'd also, if you have meter, I'd say you should use 3-3-B Brave Edge, or um you can use 4-4-K Brave Edge um if you're close enough to them, because after after some testing and some defensive training, I found that the 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 random factor of on 4-4-K Brave Edge, it's pretty in your favor when you're trying to make a comeback, because I found that against some opponents they'll try and um like they don't they might try and like interrupt you, or they can try and they can try and maybe just guard like the last hit or the second hit, and that's I actually find the random body slam useful, because they wouldn't expect it.
Mm.
But it's pretty. I'd say in terms of Dampierre making a comeback, it's not. He doesn't have um the best comeback tools.
Offensive tools, yeah.
Yeah, because if if they're really on the defense, you just have to you'd have to like take the risk, make an intelligent guess, and just go for it.
Mhm.
But in the context of a wall, of stages with walls and ring out areas, I'd say Dampierre can make a very good um it makes it easier for Dampierre to make a comeback
Mhm.
at the let's say they have a life lead and they're at the edge of the ring, and you're both of you are moving around, you're trying to space. um what I would do in that situation, I would go I would actually, if I don't have meter in that context, if I don't have meter, I would actually go for a 3-3 BK, 3-3 BK, um because it's at the edge of the ring. If they try to interrupt you with a really slow attack, or if they don't interrupt you in time, and the mid kick hits them, they get a ring out. And also, to add to that, you can just throw them. Like, just if they're at the edge of the ring or near the edge of the ring, you can use the A throw and just hope it does the random version, and then it should ring them out. So, and also like if you're near a wall as well, I'd say I'd say go for I'd say moves like 3-3 B Brave Edge, A plus B. They're really good to use by the wall, because they both wall splat.
Mhm.
So you can get a staple wall combo like 3-3 B Brave Edge, Bravo on core, um 4B, that kind of thing. I think it's pretty like I'd say in general for this question, it's pretty tricky for me to explain, because its opponents are different. I've faced like different styles of opponents, and I have made comebacks. It's just that, you know, opponents like because of the movement,
Hmm.
because of the movement system, you can if you're good, you can catch backdash, and it's what I'd say, just to sum up, just just close the gap cautiously,
Hmm.
but at the same time, don't be afraid to like throw out like mids, even if there's a chance of the mids failing and not going the way you want. You can still, like, if the opponent like tries to act out of impulse, you can, and they end up being at a frame disadvantage. If you end up blocking, you can continue your offense. You can throw. You can use mids. It's pretty like, I mean, I think one thing to do, like, just watch how Matic. I think he's the only like competitive Dampierre player alive.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't
Just
think I've seen him around recently. I think he might have taken a break or something. But
Oof was actually at NEC.
oh, was he? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even
yeah,
watch
he came
any
at the
of
top eight.
the tech
Yeah, I heard
majors.
he came at the top eight, and so I'll have to I'll have to like it's like you just have to watch how he plays, and if he's on if and if there's a match where he ends up having lower life,
Mhm.
like just watch how he attempts to come back, because there's so many like I find this question like tricky to answer as a Dampier player, because its opponents are different, and it's just the mind. There's so much brain power to like, there's quite a bit to think about, and it's just, I haven't played the game for a while, so it's like
No, that
it's
that's
tough
uh
answering.
that's cool. Well, I have a question, and then I have a follow-up question depending on how you answer. So we
Okay.
kind of started, the beginning of the podcast talking about how most people put him at the bottom of the tier list. Now,
Mm-hmm.
where do you put him? Do you think he's the worst character, or where would you put him on that list?
Okay. I would put, let's say the tier list was based on like, I don't know, like,
Well, it's your tier
uh,
list, so wherever you want to put
I,
him.
I I would put him at, um not a solid mid, but like a below average mid. I think just a stage above from the worst character.
So you
Uh,
would say he's like low mid.
yeah,
That's
low mid,
okay.
because he's very inconsistent. Like, if luck is on the player's side, like he can be at the top, but at the same time, you know if you get unlucky, then that's his inconsistency is what hinders him.
Gotcha.
But other factors to consider, such as his combo damage and his general tools for whiff punishing, like, I think that sort of balances him out to like a low mid. I'd say I'd put him as a low mid character for tier list.
All right. So my follow-up question then, to that, because I figured that's probably where you'd put him. Um, so you mentioned, the random factor very much plays a part in the match will go.
Hmm.
So it sounds like the way that you're playing him, uh, since his offense, because of that random factor, the offense isn't nearly as strong as other characters. So you're going to play more of a defensive game with him. Now, when you
Yes.
do that, it sounds like you're basically just you're playing that defense, you're waiting for your whiffs and your punishing opportunities, and then every once in a while you're taking a chance with the random factor and then
Yes.
hoping that it works out for you. Does that sound like it's a
Yes.
fairly accurate assessment?
Yes. Pretty much.
Okay, gotcha. So because the the majority of his offense is based around that random factor, it answers a lot of the questions about his offense because he can't. I mean, it's hard to propose solutions to a weakness when the weakness is like a roll of the dice, you know, in a
Yes, that
coin
is true.
flip. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I mean, I completely understand how you'd want to play defensive with him and wait for those opportunities. Uh, so I mean, it seems like when we started the podcast and we mentioned, you know, how a lot of people put him at the bottom. It sounds like that's pretty accurate.
Mm.
And I know that you mentioned that if they took away that random factor, that things might change a
Yes,
little
he'd
bit
be
for
the
him.
best character in the game.
Yeah, but because of that, I mean, I don't really think that, at least for me, that there's a lot of questions from that. You know, anything to build on what you've already said. So I guess what I'll do is, you know, just to kind of like a wrap up. I mean, is there anything important that we didn't mention, like any, I don't know, specific moves or situations that
Okay,
you
yes.
should look out for?
Okay, I think what I'll mention as well, I'll mention some of his other moves as well to just for the interests of the listeners.
Hmm.
He's got 3A. 3A can actually be an infinite and its natural combo as well by the wall, but there's a chance that he will transition to fake pain. And but it's unsafe on block as well, and it's mid. But at the wall, it can it can become an infinite if you're really, really lucky. And it can also as well his um his 6B um it's a 14 frame high and it's plus two on block, tech crouches as well. It's it's actually it's a pretty it's a pretty good move. It doesn't have the range that I wish it had. It's got a pretty small range, but it's good to use like every now and again. And you can follow up with a 2B for combo damage.
Hmm.
Here's 3BB. Now this move mid the first hit is if you just do the first hit on loan, it's unsafe at minus 18. But the follow up, you can actually delay the follow up, and it will stun them. So it's sort of like a stun knockdown on hit. But otherwise, it's I've read solutions in um anti Dampierre threads wherever they are that you can just guard the second hit. But I sort of you can it's the way this move was designed. It's like I sort of see it as like not a mix up, but like what would you do? Like asking the opponent, what would you do? Would you like try and attack me straight away after 3B, or will you try and block both hits? So I sort of like use that move every now and again. It's pretty good to throw out like not too much, but it's there. It's like to catch people out if they're not awake. Um, he's also got uh oh let's see 4A sorry yes 4A actually yes 4A is um it's actually a pretty interesting move. 17 frames, 20 damage. It's safe, although it is a high, and it's plus 4 on hit. The opponent actually faces back turned if it hits them, and it catches step pretty well, and it's I'd say for Dampierre players, especially against the Ivy matchup, because I think Ivy is from what I read and my experience, Ivy is probably Dampierre's worst matchup in this game because she can keep him out like like no tomorrow, and you just have to, be her 3B is very evasive.
Mhm.
So against 3B heavy Ivy players, 4A is a good answer to that. And just moving on as well. His um other moves in general. His 4-4 BK. Um, this is it's a very linear string, and it's very gimmicky as well. Um, Basically, it's very good to use in combos if you know it will ring them out. For example, I can do 1-1B, and if I'm near the edge of the ring, I can use 4-4 BK, and that combo will ring them out. And it's pretty useful for combos. But outside of combos, um, unless the opponent is really dumb, I wouldn't use it.
Okay.
So, and it can be done after A plus B. So you can use A plus B, you can dash, and then you can quickly slide to 4 BK, which will register as 4-4 BK, and ring them out. And another other moves to mention as well, his critical edge, yes. Um, his critical edge is a GI
Mhm.
that does 90 damage. In fact, actually, pre-patch when the game came out, it was 80 damage before, but after the patch they buffed it to 90 damage. I don't know why, but thank you anyway, Project Soul. Um, the GI frames are from the second frame up to the 33rd frame, and it's actually pretty good I'd say as an intelligent panic move, because I've seen cases in Dampierre videos where Dampierre players have used got critical edge, and they've made like a really good comeback, and there's also a chance of it having a clean hit. And interestingly enough, the clean hit actually does variable damage. I think I've seen a case where um I really I can't find it now, but you can get a clean hit damage of something like 106 and another clean hit damage of 120. So the clean hit damage is pretty varied, and his critical edge is very it's very good to throw out if you're in a panic situation.
Mhm.
Um,
Now,
Also,
is that a true GI, like it does high, mids, and lows, or just?
yes,
Oh, okay.
it is a true GI.
Oh, okay.
Um, Another thing to mention as well, like his I'll go into I'll break down his fake pain stance.
Okay.
So Dampierre's fake pain stance, there's two animations of fake pain. The most common animation you'll see is when he's grabbing his leg and saying, "Ow, my foot." That's one of the ones you'll see. And his other fake pain animation, which you won't see, which you won't see, is his fake pain animation from 3A.
Mhm.
So he'll just use 3A, and he'll just like grab his arm and say, "Oh!" And right in fake pain, there's he has one move from fake pain, and that's fake pain B. Now it's a mid, and it also guard breaks 9. Its guard break value is 9. So if you do fake pain B 9 times, then they will get the guard burst, and it has a huge. It does 60 damage, and it has a huge advantage on block. There's one thing to note from this. If you do 1k from a distance and it hits them, now if they if they tech left or right and fake pain B crosses up on them,
Mm.
so therefore you will be behind them. You get a guaranteed poker bluff K K. You get a guaranteed poker bluff K because of the cross up. Um, so it's the only gripe I have is that 1K is pretty slow. If it was faster, then I definitely use it more, and I can utilize the fake pain offense. He also has his fake pain throws, which is fake pain A plus G and fake pain B plus G, and it's just the normal A G throw and B G throw. So if you do fake pain A plus G, it will just come out as his normal A G throw. But what it does specifically is that it catches those who are crouching. So it's a crouch throw.
Okay.
So let's say for example that after 1K on hit, if you tech during tech roll, if you're crouching, you will get thrown. However, you can break the throw as well, so it's a 50-50.
All right.
But generally, my only issue I have with fake pain stance at the minute is that Dampierre definitely needs to have more moves from fake pain. Not only to improve his Oki game, but like just to keep them guessing. Because I think what he really needs is a good mid, like more mid, but like a few lows from fake pain as well. Because I think I understand that Project Soul sort of shortened down the move lists,
Hmm.
but to be honest, Dampierre hasn't, other than the input changes from Soul Calibur Broken Destiny to Soul Calibur 5, Dampierre's move list hasn't really expanded much. I was expecting that they would add more moves from his stances, but it's pretty much the same. Nothing has changed. So, fake pain is just, it's not the best, but it is there. But I am sure that they will improve it by adding more moves and making it more tricky and keeping them guessing. And another thing as well, if you don't attack in fake pain, Dampierre will just fall and transition to Poker Bluff stance briefly. So, and I'll just talk about Poker Bluff stance. Poker Bluff, Dampierre is literally on the floor.
Hmm.
So he has Poker Bluff A, which is a high. It catches step, does 28 damage and it's -11. And it does ring out and give a wolf's blood, but it's it's okay. It's not really like the best move from the stance. I I thought to myself that Pokeball A should at least have guard break properties
Hmm.
so that it would encourage them to duck, because I don't really see um like any use for that move anyway.
Okay.
Pokeball of B is Pokeball of B is like the more common move seen. It's like the jumping shoulder barge, and then he gets on his knees and starts doing his punching, gets in the punching series.
Hmm.
And it's actually pretty good because it has a bit of tech crouch and some late tech jump frames.
Hmm.
And if it's blocked, he will still be in poker bluff, but obviously the opponent can just use a low move and stop your offense. And another thing to note as well, uh, oh no, actually I'll mention it afterwards. Sorry. Pokebluff K. It stuns on hit and it combos. You can get another Pokebluff K. So after a Pokebluff K, you're obviously still in Pokebluff, so you can just, it's a pretty gimmicky day one move because during the early days of Soul Calibur 5 online, I was just hitting people with Pokebluff K, 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 like until they blocked the low, and it's pretty hilarious, but it does happen every now and again.
All right.
And he has his Pokebluff throws as well, which you can block low or you can break the throws. So his Pokebluff stance is something you will be seeing. You will usually see more often than his fake pain stance. And there's another thing to note is that obviously there's no manual transition. So there's no manual command for Pokebluff or fake pain. You have to access it through certain moves in Dampierre's move list. But I will say though that I do hope that Project Soul, the guys making the game, like if Soul Calibur 6 comes, that one buff I think Dampierre needs is to have Pokebluff GI. So if they try to hit you with like a low hidden move, like the GI should be like an attack. I don't know. Use your imagination. It can be an auto transition to his punching series, or like something wild or something. But a Pokebluff GI would be a useful tool for Dampierre. I think defensively wise, because your only defensive option if they block moves, if they block your move and you're in Pokebluff, is to just block pretty much. I mean, knowledgeable players will just hit you with ground moves, and the only option you have is just to block as soon as possible. Another thing to note as well, another good move within his move list is 2-2B. It's pretty safe. It's safe. I believe it's -8 on block, and I think it's very good for baiting attacks because the distance it leaves you between you and your opponent, if they attack you with like a regular B move or A move, you can actually bait a 1-1B and whiff punish with that. And it's so it's combo wise, you can get 2B or 1K to your fake pain attack. Generally as a whole, I'd say combo wise for Dampierre, it's not really like very interesting. I'd say it's pretty brief. Other than A plus B Bravo 1 core or 6-2-3B Bravo 1 core, I mean, his other mini combos on that, they've got damage, but they're not really too exciting. I mean, I'll just go with Dampierre's main natural combos. Okay. You've got 3-3B to 2B, which does 4-1 damage. If the 3-3B comes out as the random version, so the 3-3B guard break version, gets 61 damage. So 3-3B random to 2B will do 61 damage. His 6B as well. The 2B does 28 damage. If you follow 6B up with 1B, it's 32 damage. If you follow up with 3K, it's 30 damage. You get 33 damage if you follow up with 1-1KK. And you can follow up with you get 32 damage if you follow it up with 8K. A plus B to A plus B to 6K does 49 damage, and A plus B to Bravo Encore to 4B, which is what you should be doing, does 108 damage. And as a side note as well, if you wish to ring them out after A plus B, but you don't ring them out, A plus B to 8-way run 4-4 BK does 51 damage. His other combos, I'll just go throughout the main damaging ones. 623B, while rising K to 3K does 60 damage. 623B, you can actually follow it up with a throw as well. So 623B to his A throw does 70 damage. And along with his B throw, that does 70 damage. Or if you do get more hits, it does more damage as well. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned as well, 623B to his A throw. If the A throw is the random version, it does 80 damage or 92 damage if the throw becomes a clean hit. And in addition to that, there's one combo. Oh yeah, 623B to 623B to Bravo Encore to 4B does 103 damage. And there's also the hat trick combo, which credits to Oothmatic for finding. There's 623B, roll crouch cancel A plus B to Bravo Encore to 4B does 111 damage. And it's a very, like, you know, it's I'd say it's like a milestone combo for Dampierre plays, because there's a chance that any part of the combo can fail. Like the second 623B can fail, the A plus B can fail. Like even on hits A plus B, you can still Dampierre can still do the head spin, so therefore your combo has failed. And I think that's just another combo for just for any Dampierre players to try out if they're interested. And like I mentioned as well, 1B to Bravo Encore to 4B does 120 damage. And you can get more damage if the last two kicks of Bravo Encore become clean hits. Also, in addition to that, 3K as well it stuns them on hit, so you can follow with 2K for 32 damage, or 1K for 32 damage, or 2B for 33 damage, or 1K for 35 damage. You can also follow with 3K for 35 damage, and you can. The most damaging one I've found is if you have meter, you can follow up with 4K Brave Edge for 59 damage. That's if you get all three rolls. And another thing to mention as well, counter hit 8B plus K to Bravo Encore to 4B does 120 damage. And another move as well, counter hit 6A, you get a guaranteed 1B, but the only way to escape that combo is for the opponent to tech left. If they tech any other direction, it becomes 53 damage. So counter hit 6A to 1B, the only way to escape the 1B is to tech left. And I'll go through his wall combos as well. His wall splatting moves is his normal AG, 3-3B, the Brave Edge version, and the normal version as well will wall splat as well. A plus B wall splats as well, and his 3-3K wall splats as well. And I have to say as well that actually if 3-3K is pretty good to bait opponents, because again, like 2-2B, it creates space,
Mhm.
so you can bait for whiffs, and so that's just something to throw out there for Dampierre players. His 3K also walls as well, wall splats as well, and if the wall is behind Dampierre, his B throw will wall splat as well for guaranteed um 1B, I believe. So some of his staple wall combos um from let's say you get a wall splat, you can if you're if as a Dampierre player you're not confident in your Bravo encore execution,
Mhm.
you can follow up with a throw, which will his which will do 108 damage. So AG wall splat and AG I think does 108 damage. Although I wrote in my notes that I think you will more or less get the left throw of the AG rather than yeah, you'll get the left side throw of AG if um the first AG wall splats. If you For those who are confident in their Bravo Encore execution, AG wall Bravo Encore does 81 damage. Although be careful because the 4B follow up, depending on the angle, can whiff. Though if you do land the 4B after Bravo Encore, that's 94 damage. Um, Still on the AG wall combo, 2 KK Brave Edge does 97 damage. Well, the damage is inconsistent because the move is random as well. And after after the wall splat as well, you can actually do 3A and hope for an infinite. So after AG wall splat, you can do 3A and hope for an infinite. Although in most cases you'll eventually transition to fake pain. So and so there's that as well. After AG wall, if you have meter, you can do 3-3B Brave Edge, and that will also give you a second wall splat. And you can after that you can do 1-1B to Brave Edge and 4B, and that does 127 damage. And do note as well that after three that because 3-3B is random, you can get the guard burst version of it, and that obviously does more damage. So because of like I said, I did say I think early in the podcast that offensive wise, combo wise,
Mhm.
that his random factor can help him in terms of damage
Uh-huh.
and like hindering, but it can hinder Dampierre in terms of consistency because if you're really gambling for big damage, at some point your combo can fail and not go the way you want. Therefore, you'll get less damage, and therefore it's more of a wasted opportunity. So for like for like Dampierre players who are out there for consistency, I would say that after a wall splat, just go for Bravo Encore and get your guaranteed damage. For those who are like really like myself who like are really seeking for damage, like don't be afraid to like take the risk and get extra damage. If it fails, like so what, just continue. But if you do hit it, you will definitely be rewarded with huge damage. And I mean, I've got other damaging combos as well. I mean, you can find these combos
Mhm.
like in the Dampierre forums, but
Yeah.
a combo,
Yeah.
a combo from in fact actually um yeah, a really combo. I'll just say this last combo because I don't want to bore you guys with combos, but
Yeah, we don't have to go through all of them now.
yeah, like a really interesting combo that I found was uh 3-3B Brave Edge Wall Splat, AG the wall the Wall Splat version 623B, Bravo and Core, and 4B does 142 damage. And but just to sum up, like Dampierre with meter as well, Dampierre's wall combo damage, though inconsistent, it is very insane if if you're able to land it. And I think that'll be that'll be all for combos. That I think what I'll do, I'll just update like any other wall combos I've found, because Uthmatic has there's this one combo that is possible, but it is super rare because of the inconsistency and the random factor. And I think Uthmatic posted asking for the damage, and I've been trying it for like hours, and it's so damn inconsistent. It's like it's 6-2. I think the combo is 6-2, 6-2-3B, 6-2-3B, crouch cancel. Oh no, sorry. 6-2-3B, AG wall, 3-3B, Brave Edge, and you need to get the guard break version, and then B plus K, which is the fastest unblockable you need, and then 6 to oh no, A plus B, and then Bravo on core with the clean hit damage and 4B. It's something like that, but it's like a super inconsistent. It's like the $1 million war combo of Doom that I will try and like hopefully capture and upload to 8-way run, hopefully. But that's like the super. That's like if you hit that combo, then you've literally struck jackpot. Like, but yeah. Oh, are we still in the wrap up zone?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I mean, we've been going for a while, so I don't want to push it too much longer.
Okay.
But yeah, because I mean, you just went through the combos. I mean, if there's anything else really, really important, we don't need to go through the move list, and stuff, of course.
I
But
wouldn't with move list.
yeah, so but I mean, yeah, if there's anything else that's really, really important, feel free to throw it out there.
I just wanna say to be honest, I think like I haven't just so you guys know that I haven't actually played Soul Calibur 5 for a while. I've been more into Tekken Tag 2, so like forgive me because I've been like just hesitant on information and like repeating myself. Like I do apologize, but I mean
that's okay, man. I think that I mean, if you take a look at just like turnouts recently, I think for the most part, I mean, people are unfortunately starting to move on a little bit from Caliber, but that's okay. I mean, you still given a ton of information, so it's and I know that the Dampierre boards forum has a lot of information too. So
yeah, I think also like I've really been like I think I'm actually gonna start getting back into Soul 5 because I think maybe a month ago like I played it and I completely like forgot like how to just guard, like I was losing to easy stuff. But to be honest, I think this has really motivated me to like get back and to really like I need to like really put in like matchup work for Dampierre, because I know the forum is pretty dead, but I definitely like I'll definitely get back into Dampierre, because I think he's I don't know, I just feel so passionate about my character, but it's like I've been away from Soul Calibur 5 for a while, so it's like trying to remember all these things and these great moments. But it's for those who are picking up Dampierre, Um, what I do suggest you do, familiarize yourself with his move list, and also like just I think the best thing for you to do even before you learn Dampierre, like try and understand the way the Soul Calibur system works,
Hmm.
because learned well I sort of learned Soul Calibur 5 the wrong. Well, I didn't really in like when I was playing with Sinrai, like he told me that why am I picking Dampierre, like I should be using Raphael, or someone who can teach the fundamentals of Soul Calibur 5. But I was like, no, 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 I feel strong about Dampierre, and it's like you know it's not that I learned Soul Calibur 5 the hard way, but it's like you know I could have like at least learn like the proper way to defend, like just guard, and through fundamentals. Like if you have solid fundamentals, I honestly believe you can win with any character, even Dampierre,
Hmm.
and you can make him like really, really powerful. So for those learning Dampierre, like familiarize yourself with his move list, and also understand, like practice Bravo Encore. For those who don't know, it's 623 K K K K K K K K, and they're all just frame kicks. Do not mash them. Mashing is like, you know, the J those are pretty easy, but the best thing to do is to learn the timing of the kicks so that you will always land it. Like I used to mash it, and but I was always losing out on damage. But once I learned the timing of it, I was doing damage. And I also think that oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention in terms of auto GI, 1A, his 1A, which is a low, is an auto GI, and it just GIs verticals and horizontals, both highs and mids,
Hmm.
from the frame 5 to frame 14. Just to throw it out there, I forgot to mention it. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really. Oh, do I do shout outs here or later on?
Well, yes and no to that question, because I was just the only thing that I have to add to what you're saying now and to Dampierre is I mean there are those characters that you are going to need to know the matchups, because that's where you're going to
Yes.
get most of your damage,
Hmm.
because you have to play defense, so you have to know what your opponent is capable of. That's
Hmm.
really all I have for Dampierre. So yeah, just so that we I think we've been going for a while. So yeah, if you just want to go right into the shout outs, we can actually just wrap it up from there. And I'll let you do the shout outs. And the only thing that, other than that I have to add for the end of the podcast is that we only have one left. And Alpha Patroclus is the only character that's remaining. So we'll
Ah,
hopefully get to
yes.
him sometime soon. I was hoping to get them done before the new year, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, I do like to give my guests the final word. So yes, any shout outs or anything like that that you want to say, by all means, go for it.
All right then. All right. I'll try and be as brief as possible. I actually like to firstly give a shout out to Ufmatic. Now, honestly, I think well, in my case, like he would have been like, I don't know, maybe the better candidate for this podcast. But to be honest, like I'd say Uf has really like repped Dampier like really, really well, and I'm really happy that he placed top 8. And I'm really looking forward to seeing those matches, because I mean I just wanna, like just it just feels so good when a character you're passionate about and that you play does really well in tournaments.
Hmm.
And I'd also like to give a shout out also to a guy called Mark Koed. I heard that he almost beat Zeph. I don't know which tournament it was, but he apparently, like the way he played, he like did everything right, but like he lost like to some clutch, I think. And the I'm still, Mark, if you can like just show me the video, or if anyone can link me to the video, I really want to see it because I'm really touched by this. And yeah, so that's a shout out to Mark. And I'd also like to give a shout out to like all but few, like Dampierre players out there, who have really made them from day one. So a shout out to people who've stopped buying the Dampierre forums, Heaton, Le Mongressa, Mark, Oofmatic, uh, Labello, and Sir as well, and what's his name? He lives in the UK as well. I'm gonna kill myself for not remembering his name.
I mean,
Uh,
I just so you don't feel too bad. I mean, we will of course have the post for this episode.
yes,
So
yes,
if you
yes.
forget anybody, you can always put it in there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember his name. Rakazuki. Yes. Thank you very much for posting your Dampierre endeavors and showing an interest in him. Oh yes, and also of course some random freak. Yes. Yes, I remember those online Dampierre mirror matches we had. To be honest, honestly, I'd say we're the only like maybe three Dampierre players in the UK, maybe Europe, some random freak, Rakazuki and myself. And to be honest, I'd say like some random freak is just a very, very good Dampierre player. He's better than me because he has the movement, and he's also very good with the whiff punishment as well. So, shout outs to you, bro. I haven't forgotten about you, and I hope we can, meet up one day. And also shout outs to just the people who are really keeping Soul Calibur 5 alive, because I'll be honest and say that Soul Calibur 5 is like my secondary game. And just when I went back to it 2 weeks, and when I'm watching, these tournaments, these streams, I really appreciate how, people are putting in the work and really showing in love to this game. I mean, you know, I've, shout outs to all the people who have really made a name for themselves, and really the up and coming players, I can just name like, I really, to be honest, I'll just dedicate a post for you guys, because 8-way run at the minute, it's not really dead, but it's sort of like really dormant now. We're just waiting for like the big Soul Calibur 6 news. People will start returning to Soul Calibur and stuff. But shout outs to all the moderators, tournament players, and even shout out to the people in the UK scene. Silent Joel, Hyrule, all the other people. I mean, I wish I could come down and play Soul 5 with you guys, but I've got uni and stuff. But definitely when I am capable of traveling, I will dedicate a time to come down, hang with you guys, talk Soul Calibur and stuff. And you know I will definitely. I mean, if you guys have any questions on Dampierre, if you're not sure or clear, I will do my best to answer you guys, and I will work on the Dampierre versus the World matchup thing, because I actually think that's long overdue.
Yeah, try to revive the Soul Arena a
Yeah,
little
I will do
bit.
my best to revive that Soul Arena, because I've just looked at the other Soul Arenas, and they're pretty much wrapped up, but like with mine, it's unfinished business.
Mhm.
So I'll do my best with that. And I just wanna I just wanna say as well that you know it's I think definitely we should do our best to make use of what we're given in the game. I mean, I think just in whatever you do, like when it comes to your own character, like make the most out of your character. Like, we've got tier whores, and I see nothing wrong with tier whoring, but it's good to have a character you're really passionate about and do well with. And I'm just hoping that in Soul 6 that they'll make Dampierre, better. I mean, give or take, I will still use him and I will keep him, alive. And another thing as well, please do not make Dampierre a DLC character in Soul Calibur 6, please, because I'm really like pissed off in a way that in French tournaments they ban Dampierre. I mean, how can you ban your own French character? Like, if there is a good reason, then I'd love to hear it. But I mean, you guys, I wouldn't hate you because you're it happens. I mean, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I play. I'm actually more known in the Tekken community as a lead player, but I will definitely try and make a name for myself in the Soul Calibur community, hopefully. So, I mean, I love 8-way run. It's good. It's good to talk with people in the shop box and stuff. Even though nobody really knows me, but I just like to be random and just try and engage in conversations and stuff. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for me, unless there's anything else.
Nope. I mean, that's all I had. I mean, we got a good lengthy discussion of Dampierre, of course, and yeah, we got your shout out. So that's all I got. The next one will be the last Soulcast, and then from there, I think I've mentioned this on other episodes. I don't know quite what's going to happen once I get that last character episode out. I'll probably take a break for a little while. We'll just have to wait and see. But other than that, yep, that's all I got. So thank you.
One thing I noticed. I'm really sorry to mention this. Sorry, really sorry.
Go ahead.
All right. In NEC, I believe it was Lost Providence who won with Alpha Patroclus. And I think it's just ironic how Alpha Pat is just. I don't know if it's in a good way, but the timing, an Alpha Pat player has won NEC just now, and Alpha Pat is the last. I don't know. That's just a weird thing I just noticed, but yeah.
No, hey, that's perfect timing, actually.
Yep.
Maybe we might have to get him back on to talk about some Alpha Pat. So we'll see. But thank you for coming on the podcast and talking some Dampierre. And then yeah, everyone that's expect that last podcast. That's all I got. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
All right then. Later.